Hello everyone and welcome to another Exploring a Call of Duty multiplayer map. Today we're going to be taking a look at a Modern Warfare 2019 launch map called Piccadilly. I have my friend Henry here with me, so we're going to load in, we're going to go through, explore the map, and just talk about why this map is so good. Alright, so here we are on Piccadilly. Now, I wanted to take a look at a defining multiplayer map in one of the best Call of Duties of all time. And Henry suggested that we take a look at his personal favorite map, not only in this game, but basically in all of Infinity Ward's selection of maps. So we decided to hop on to Modern Warfare 2019's Piccadilly. So Henry, what are your introductions for this map?
I think this map offers a ton of different kind of gameplay engagement. I think it adheres strictly to realism, which is really important to
Mm-hmm.
me. And I think the gameplay flow of this map is phenomenal in pretty much every game mode.
Yes, no, I agree, and though that is the key word here, realism, and game flow, because most Call of Duty maps are laid out in a very arcadey, very traditional structure. But what Piccadilly does is it really breaks the mold by creating a very realistic environment. Because realistic environments and realistic scenarios where battle engagements would happen is not the traditional, Treyarch three-line structure. So well, let's go through, let's explore, and take a look at the layout of this map and sort of the game flow and the design. So first off here, we have one of the many dead ends on the map here. We have, this is one of the many empty streets that we have that's in the back part of the map. Now, interestingly enough, in free-for-all game modes, you typically don't even spawn back here. This kind of area goes kind of unused, but tactical and intelligent players will use these sort of empty back alley streets as areas to call in their kill streaks, to put down equipment or even ammo boxes as such. Now, as we move over here, we have one of the most defining elements of this map, and that is the buses. The many buses that exist around the map, and what they do is they provide such an interesting level of close quarters engagement, because you have all of these windows that look out on either sides of the bus, and then you have this sort of hopping in here for a close quarters engagement with players who might be sitting and camping in some of these buses here. So, how
Mm.
would you describe the buses in terms of the game flow here?
I think they give a layer of strategy to the map that we normally don't see in other Call of Duty maps. And another thing as well, one important thing, just in case you forgot what the name of the map was, it's right here.
Yeah, right
Very
there,
helpful.
Piccadilly.
Yeah, it lets you know where you're at. It immerses you in the setting. You know, we're in London, in Piccadilly itself,
Yes.
and it's very important that we know where we're at. So they
Yeah,
made
yeah.
sure that we
Knowing
don't
where you
forget.
are is such an important thing, because in this game, many players complained about not having map awareness, but most of that can be attributed to skill issues and just not being knowledgeable about the game, the map layout, and the basic pathing. So as we move over here, we have another one of these streets that kind of end here, and more areas for players to get to safety and call in the kill streaks if they ever manage to get them.
And it's
And we have this.
it's important to point out as well with this particular barricade, it's actually not fully sealed off, so you can kind of slip behind here and use it to your advantage.
Right, right. For a quick little bit of coverage, you can actually duck back there for an entire second and possibly even get the drop on somebody if you know they're coming. So let's work our way through all of the main streets of the map so we can try to go through and explain how well the game flows, and then we'll work our way into the many many buildings that intersect all the different parts and aspects of the map.
Well, our first kind of side path here, we can go into this parking garage, or part of it. And this is a really important part of the map. This is where you kind of get in those close range engagements. And as you can see here, we have one of the many indestructible doors that we're going to be coming across here on Piccadilly. And
Yeah,
these doors...
and let's just point it out right now. These doors are a defining element of not only this game, but this map specifically, because the doors pretty much act as barriers to entry to all the buildings, and not only that, barriers to entry to the game's skill gap as well, because players who understand the value of doors are going to have a major advantage over players that don't. As you can see right here, by peeking the door here, you can actually get the drop on players who are trying to find their way and are coming around that corner from the main spawn point.
And one important highlight of the doors is that you can very quickly close them if you get scared or spooked. Again, important for a defensive playstyle, which
Yes,
Modern Warfare...
that is the key thing here. Defensive playstyle. This map, you're not going to be running around like a chicken with your head cut off and do successful here. This map benefits the defensive, the intelligent, and those who wait and listen and pay attention and understand the flow of the game. So now let's work our way through here. And see this hallway here, and with another defining feature, we have the mounting ability. Now, again, if somebody's coming through those doors and you know they're coming from that spawn, you can just mount yourself right here and take them out. And unless they know that you're mounted on the other side of that corner there, you're going to get the drop on them.
It's really important for the defensive playstyle. This part of the map right here is one of my favorite spaces to stay in. Because it's a very high traffic.
It's a funnel, basically. It funnels in players.
It's a very high traffic area, and you can utilize it in such a very defensive way that you can really embrace the tactical kind of gameplay that Modern Warfare encourages. And as an example, I want you to stay right here. We're going to go ahead and close this door. And for the audience, I want you to just let the audio play so you can hear me coming, right? And it'll highlight how defensive friendly this game is and tactical this game can be. As you can see, you heard me coming and you were ready. You were prepared.
I was. I heard you coming. I heard you coming from what sounded as if it was 30 feet away. That right there is what we call immersive sound design. And because this is a high traffic area, all you have to do is be aware of your surroundings, pay attention, and you will be able to get the drop on players who are just trying to get out of the spawn. And again, so now let's move back in to this building right here, and we have one of the major battle centers of the map.
As you can see in this liquor store here, there is a bit of cover right here for defense. And
defense, that's the key word here, defense.
And there's another door right here for defensive gameplay.
Right, and you even have this expertly placed desk for mounting. And mounting, again, very big aspect of Modern Warfare 2019 and its defensive style gameplay.
You know, this isn't...
Yes, I mean, you see, right here is a key example of how well the game flows. Say that there is players coming from this from the buses in the center of the map. Now that's 3 different lines of sight right there. You have right there, you have right here, and you have right here. Now imagine you're trying to cover that position. You're trying to get a defensive position on the people who are coming from across that side of the map. Little do you know that there is not 1, not 2, but not 3, not 4, but 5 different areas and directions that the enemies can come from. And when there's that many lines of sight, all pointing at you, it's all about the players who can stop and listen for the minutia of somebody plodding their feet down the hallway in 5 different directions. That really
Hmm.
separates the men from the boys, really.
Yeah, this is the only COD game where you really need to use all of your sensors, be it your nerves, your ears, your eyes. You need to use every crucial aspect in order to get the upper hand in the most tactical way possible.
Exactly. This is a thinking man's game. Honestly, it truly is. I mean, no other game has ever given you the true feeling of being under a rain of hellfire from 1,000 different directions, much like sitting right here in this building. From all these different possible angles of engagement. I mean, you
Hmm.
truly feel like you're in an absolute nightmare, like a real
And that's
soldier would be.
Yeah, and that's what war is like. You know, you don't know what to expect, and that part of the game is extremely realistic, and that is what kept me playing it for all these years.
Exactly. Now let's move on to this building over here. Now, of course, the game design is just truly impeccable because you have this sort of destroyed building here and these broken windows, and unlike many traditional buildings that have windows you have to climb in, these windows are just massive. They're open, so any player who is just walking by this open window here who wants to enter this building will have to contend with not one but two perfectly placed mounted positions. So say you're right there, and I'm running past these open windows right here. My body is fully exposed from not only two mounted positions, but a prone spot. And because there's just dirty, disgusting gray rubble all in this room right here, you really have to be aware of your surroundings and know that there's a player that could be in this gray destroyed room.
Well, it's important to mention the prone spot as well, because to subvert your expectations, as opposed to having someone head glitching here or here, you could be laying right here.
Exactly. And if I manage to run past that window here, you could even be in this darker corner right there. And once again, that is forcing the players to be aware of their surroundings.
You have to be alert, you have to be engaged, and you really have to be in tune with your senses in order to play this
Exactly. You
game.
just need to listen. You need to think more. You know, not just paying attention to your mini map and chasing red dots. You need to actually chase your senses. That's what this game is so good at. It's so cerebral in that it makes you chase your senses. And another huge aspect of this map are the numerous amounts of vehicles. Let's talk about those because that is a major aspect of this map.
It is a key defining part of Piccadilly, and I feel like the vehicles add a lot to the gameplay and the realism, you know, because if I were actually in Piccadilly Square, there would be tons of cars, you know, and that gets me immersed in the setting, it gets me engaged, and when I'm in tune with the setting, I'm enjoying the game more.
Exactly. If you were just here and the streets were empty and there was actually clear lines of sight, I mean, it wouldn't feel real at all. It would feel like just like a video game level or something. And that's not what this is. This is an immersive military simulation experience. And what is that like? Throwing a grenade, blowing up destroyable vehicles. That right
Mm.
there is an immersive military experience.
Again, sometimes the sound design in this game and the way the maps are, yeah, it's so visceral to me that I have to get off after 3 games. I'm just so immersed. It gets so intense, you know? And that's why
It's
this
it's
game
it's
is so
almost
great.
overwhelming in a way, if you really think
It's
about it.
sensory overload in the best way possible.
Yes, that is the perfect way to describe it. Honestly, we have another bus right here, and of course this overlooks the two head glitches right there, and of course that more areas to get shot from, more lines of sight. That is a good thing. That encourages more engagement with fellow
And
players.
and
That's a
once
good thing.
again, to immerse you in the setting, the name of the map right here,
Yep.
Piccadilly. That's where
Yep.
we're at.
Piccadilly. Piccadilly. You see, Piccadilly is a memorable map not just because of the fantastic level design, but also because of just the memorable iconography and the name. The name Piccadilly. It's synonymous with Modern Warfare 2019, which is synonymous with quality. So now let's move into the Riley's Circus Arcade, one of the very colorful cut-throughs and buildings on this map.
Right, and it immerses you in the setting because, this place is very colorful, but then we go to the outer part of the map and it's not so colorful. We're in a war
No,
zone.
no, and that's the contrast right there. And the contrast is what defines a unique area. You see, when you have these big, dull gray areas that are only broken up by splashes of red, and then you have these massive splash of color right here, it makes for very memorable sections of maps. It just provides it. You see what this does. It's very cerebral in a way because it gives you the impression that these are video games. Because you almost forget that you're playing a video game. You feel like you're actually in a realistic military experience. But these here are to remind you, this is a video game. This is a gaming experience. This is supposed to be a fun time. Remember where you are. That's an important thing that this little building does and this section does for you.
Yeah, it's a brief respite to take you away from the very oppressive war zone that is going on outside this particular building.
And speaking of which, let's come on to this slide right here because this is a very indicative of the war zone. You have all this destroyed rubble here that's on fire. I mean, when you come out here, there's just look across the map. You have 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, countless lines of sight, and basically, unless you're using the incredibly in-depth tack sprint mechanic to quickly jump down into this stairway here, I mean, you're going to get shot. And that encourages the players to use tack sprint. Because if I was normally sprinting or by God, walking outside of this building, there's no way I would have been able to maneuver down these long flight of stairs to nothing quickly at all.
And one key aspect in all of Modern Warfare's maps that I absolutely love is the concept that there are spaces where you can feel safe. And this is a
Yes.
perfect example of one of those spaces. You come down these stairs, I feel pretty safe down here.
Yeah, this is
And
what we
I can,
call a safe space. And
mm,
Infinity Ward understands more than anything that there needs to be safe spaces for certain players to go to access the kill streaks if they get the chance to use them. I mean, this is just quality level design.
well, not just for that, but this gives you an obvious tactical advantage, being able to slowly creep up these stairs to look out onto the street and pick your engagements. Again, that's what this game is about. It's about picking your engagements and thinking tactically.
Yeah, yeah, tactically, that is the name of the game here. So if we move through this sort of area right here, we have some more blocked off barricades that define the outsides of the map. We have another one of the many buses that exist here, and then we have this sort of just big, giant, open, exposed area that you can get shot from multiple different angles. And what this encourages you to do is to not stay outside, because what happens if you stay outside in a real firefight in real life? You're going to get shot. And that's why every open area has so many lines of sight and so many chances for engagement, because they want you to quickly run into a building. Because what does this game promote? Defensive playstyles. You're not going to be very defended if you're standing out in this giant open street with no cover.
Right. Well, and that's why they put this wonderful stand here that you can use as a hiding spot. So, you hear someone coming, you're using your sensors, you're using your nerves.
Yeah. For example, if I'm coming from this direction and you're crouched in that little room right there, I mean, you're hearing me coming from about a mile away before I even know that you're there.
Right, and that's me using my sensors. It's me using my knowledge and my brain and my feelings and the vibrations in the ground to pinpoint my enemies. It's a very thought-provoking, thinking man's game. You really need to be intelligent in order to understand Modern Warfare. It's on another level.
Exactly. And if I were to get killed by you, that would just be my fault, because then I would just have lack of map awareness. I should have known that there was a tiny microscopic stand that a player can hide in and shoot me if I run by, because that is called knowing the layout of the map and map awareness. And if I don't have that, and you do, you should be the one that benefits from it, and not the
Well,
lesser player.
right, a crucial aspect of the game is not just listening out for enemies, but also listening to yourself. So every time you shoot, and every time you move, you need to listen to your own footsteps, your own gunshots. It's on another level in terms of sound design and game design.
Exactly. Now let's move on to this other side over here. We have another building. Now this is a very interesting building because it has such an interesting and dynamic interactable mechanic. It has metal detectors. So every time you pass through these open doorways, the metal detectors go off, alerting players who are within the building that you're approaching. And you know what that is? That's called immersion. That's called realism. And that's called benefiting defensive playstyle. See, if I were just running in here like a chicken with my head cut off, I shouldn't deserve to get a free kill. Now, the player who sits, listens, waits, and watches, that is the player who should get the kill.
Right, and dynamic map elements like this are so crucial in Call of Duty maps. The fact that these metal detectors alert players inside the building to other approaching, invading players' presence, because that's what they are. You know, if you come into my safe space, you're an invader. And that is inherently bad. So these
Exactly.
metal detectors are to repel invaders, because that's what
Yeah,
they
yeah,
are.
it's a benefit to the players who require a safe space, if you were.
And this is one of the safest spaces there is, because if we come up these stairs, look here, there's more metal detectors.
More metal detectors. So if you were to even make it miraculously inside of this building, for some reason you actually managed to get past all the metal detectors and the possible players that were using the mounted position down below, there's another set of metal detectors waiting for you at the top of the stairs. Once again, benefiting the players who are intelligent and waits and listens.
Again, it's using your ears, it's using your eyes. That's what this game's all about.
And once again, there's only two ways into this building. The only other way in is to do a long climbing animation. And what happens when you're standing up here? Look at how many lines of sight. You see, what this does is if you want to somehow get to the player who's playing tactically, you're going to have to put yourself in harm's way, because they're not going to put themselves in harm's way to kill you. But if you're going to jump up here and try to sneak into their safe space, you're going to get punished from the many different lines of sight. And what that is called intelligent level design, because it benefits the players who think, the players who are aware, not the players who rush in and have no care for the iconography and mechanics of the map.
And again, you have to, one crucial aspect of Modern Warfare, if you want to succeed, you have to respect it, for it to respect you.
Exactly. And the players who do not respect the mechanics are the players who will be punished. So now let's move into one of the other ends of the map. And we have here is a gigantic open street with minimal cover. Once again, this is one of the many spawn points of the map. And players who, basically, if you get killed or if you die and you have to respawn, you're putting yourself in a bad position. And obviously, if you were not tactically defended well enough to stay alive, respawning is basically just one form of a two-step punishment system for the player. Because first, you die because you weren't in a tactically defendable place. And the next, you are respawning in an area quite like this, where there is very minimal cover and multiple lines of sight looking directly at you. So it's possible that you might get taken out for a second time immediately after. And as we look over here, we have another empty street with a dead end. And now, of course, this is where many players would go to call in the kill streaks that they would manage to get. And of course, we have another building to enter in here. And now this is a very interesting building because it has very light, bright colors. So any players who were to be rushing through here or coming through the doorways would be immediately taken out by somebody who would use that power position right there. So say I was coming into this building and I was trying to run around here, power position. Punishment for players who are just rushing in. You need to be aware that there are levels of elevation, and there are players who have better map positioning and awareness than you.
And again, going back to awareness, you know, I could be shooting a guy way over here, guns blaring, explosions going off, but if you were running that way, I would absolutely be able to hear you and then quickly get into my mount position in my safe space.
Exactly. For example, you go outside and rush into that door, and I'll stand over here and just listen to the immersive sound design.
Right, I'm gonna full-on tech sprint, you know, like a headless chicken. Oh, I'm running around, I see my red dots. Oh, no!
Oh, there it is, and I heard you coming in from a mile away. And what that does, that encourages more tactical playstyle. Now, I think we should demonstrate the tactical playstyle that benefits a map like this. Because if you're respawning back here, what's the kind of movement that you should be looking at? Rushing in and running around? No, 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 no. You need to be crouched. You need to have your secondary out. You need to tactically move around. And if you got to approach slowly, because if you move too quickly, the enemies are going to hear you coming. So you got to tactically crouch, then pull out your primary, and then use the mounting mechanic to look around the corners and get a better range of view. That is how a realistic military operator would move into a building like this that has danger in it.
See, when I spawn into Modern Warfare, I get in my tactical mindset, I put on my war paint, I start crouching, I take in my surroundings, I listen for the sounds, I feel the earth and the dirt, and I'm slowly and methodically move through the map, you know, carefully weighing every decision I could make, and that's what this game encourages.
Exactly. You are one with the game. The experience just envelops you so realistically that it almost feels as if you really are there. So now let's take a look over towards this area right here. Now again, no map would be complete without layers. Every good map has layers. You know, any basic developer who would make a map would have one flat layers and maybe have some buildings. But this is what sets Piccadilly apart, is that there is an entire other layer that many players don't even know about or aren't even aware of because the game makes absolutely no indication that it's here. But this is what the benefit for players who explore the map and tactically move around. They get benefited by this underground path area. And as
Yeah,
you
it's
can see,
just
the textures are incredible on this game. It really feels as if I'm looking at a real information board in Piccadilly Square.
it's a very, again, it's just a part of the immersion. You need to have things like this. This is what Infinity Ward understands that other developers do not. These kind of details are actually the most important thing.
Exactly.
And
Like this dropped bag on the ground right here. When the fighting and the gunfight and the chaos broke out, this dropped bag indicates so much. It tells a story basically. Like there were civilians. There were real people here that had to abandon their possessions and try and run for cover because of the terrible real fighting that broke out in Piccadilly Square.
It's heartbreaking. Again, it tugs at the heartstrings. You know, that's what a lot of these maps have that other developers just cannot replicate. They not only are you so deeply immersed, but you feel emotional for the chaos that's going on around you.
Yes, that is a perfect way to describe it. And if we move into this another one of the many buildings right here, we have another metal detector, once again encouraging a more intelligent play. And that rings out very loud. I mean, players from about 20 to 30 feet away are going to be able to hear that. So maybe you should think twice before moving into a building like this. So we have here, we have a one of the many different areas to sit and crouch and get a good position on some of the people who are coming in from the street here. Obviously, we have this lower elevation, so you can mount up on this window here and take out enemies who are coming in from the street and spawning there. Very
Right, and
good.
another key thing, if you come over here, there's a door, right? And, you know, if you try to flank the person who's, you know, mounting over there, they're going to hear you when you come through this door. And bam, I got you.
Exactly. Come through that door, and I mean, you're going to get shot by somebody who's here because they're going to be able to hear because they're going to be tactically aware and listening for the footsteps and the doors.
And also, this spot, it works both ways. You can look out here, and then bam, maneuver over here, and you have another piece of cover with this couch.
It's almost as if the map was laid out in a way designed to benefit tactical players and players who really think.
This is easily the most tactical map in the game.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Absolutely.
And that's not to tarnish any of the other maps. They're also incredible. We may talk about those in the future.
Without a doubt, we will definitely get to the other masterclass, I would say, maps in this game's library. But Piccadilly just stands out.
My point is, when it comes to Piccadilly in particular, the tactical gameplay is off the charts. It excels in that area. Really, really deep, layered map.
And once again, what overlooks the entirety of this building? A mounted position, a defendable area, a crouched position. And if you're coming through that door, and if I'm watching one of the many other areas here, if I'm watching down this alleyway there, and you come through those metal detectors, what's going to happen? I'm gonna be aware that you're coming. I'm going to turn to my right, and I'm going to take you out, benefiting the players who think, not the players who don't.
This building has another layer. These
Much
stairs
like
right
the
here,
map itself.
These stairs right here add a lot to the gameplay. Because you don't know if someone's going to be sitting up here.
Especially, and if you come from, and if you were to come down the stairs right here and watch how, when I sit here, I mean, look at how dark this corner is right here. I mean, this is a position right here. This is what we call a power position, because if you are unaware that a player is here, or even if you are aware, that doesn't guarantee that you're going to get the kill, because if I'm in here, vision is obscured, and you have to rely on your map awareness and not just your eyes. Your eyes are basically useless on a map like this. You need to rely on your other senses to get somebody out of a power position like that.
Well, no, actually, it especially means you have to use your eyes because they're harder to see. You have to really, really be in tune with your senses. Like I said, it tests every crucial aspect. And this is what Call of Duty missed for so long, is this layer of strategy and awareness you need to play this game. Again, you need to be really, really intelligent to fully grasp these mechanics.
Now, Henry, speaking about intelligence, we should talk about the center of this map. Because if there's ever been an intelligent section of a map that's ever been developed, it is definitely the maze of buses. I mean, the maze of buses, this right here is what you call a memorable piece of iconography. I mean, the Nuketown Street, you know, the Summit Gondola, you know, the firing range tower, Piccadilly buses. It's all the same.
And the thing I was going to say that I especially love about this part of the map is that all the buses are the same color, except one.
And look what's on the front of that bus. You see what's on the front of it? Look right up there.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Oh yeah.
You know where you're at. The game reminds you. You know where you're at.
You need to know.
Are at Piccadilly. Now, the most intelligent part about the maze of buses in the center of the map is that despite providing cover from the numerous angles on this side of the map, you think, oh, you rush in here, you think that this is going to be a level of reprisal, but no, because there is one aspect, Henry, that we have yet to talk about. And if you look right over there, you see that over there? You know what that is? That is another layer. Another layer to the intelligence of the developers on this map. Because when they thought to themselves, let's create a long line of sight down this long hallway of buses of a maze in the center of the map that many players would not even think to go in, you know what they did? They put this scaffolding up here. And you know what this scaffolding does? This provides you with one of the best power positions on the entire map. Because most players would forget that the scaffolding is even here, but intelligent players who are aware see everything. You have a straight line of sight down the center of the buses right there. You have a complete overview of this entire side of the map. And if you move over here onto this side right here, what do you have? More and more lines of sight that overlooks the entirety of the center of the street.
See, but what I love about this scaffolding in particular is that it completely subverts your expectations, because if you pay attention, you know, like we've been talking about, using your awareness, you'll see that these boards here are just mere wood. And, you know, what did Infinity Ward in their genius teach you all the way back in the first Modern Warfare game? Is that you can shoot through plywood. So I'd like you to stand right here, and we'll go ahead and demonstrate this really quickly. Just the majesty of this map. The mastery that you can learn. You know, if you pay attention to your surroundings, he could be running around up there, and I would hear him. And I can shoot right through the plywood.
And the most important thing here is that this is a power position that overlooks the entire map. And even so, even more so than that, you think that just because you're in a power position that you're going to be safe? No, no, no. See, the players who put themselves in the line of fire, the players who want to actually get visuals on this map, the players who want to actually see what is going on and where the general flow of the game is, they're going to put themselves in a bad spot. And they're going to put themselves in a position to get shot from about 9,000 different angles. And what that is, that encourages tactical gameplay and not unintelligent rushing gameplay. For the dot chasers of old, Piccadilly is the alternate side of COD gameplay. Basically, this map sort of made players better at Call of Duty, if you really think about it.
It completely changed the game, and, you know, when people experience this map for the first time, they really didn't know what to make of it. You know, but if you just embrace it and all of its layers, you'll find a very deep, nuanced, immersive, tactical, militaristic simulation experience in this map, and it is breathtaking. I love this statue in the center of the map as well, because you can use it very tactically. You can kind of angle yourself around it to get very specific angles on all the buildings. The only issue you may run into is that you could get shot from anywhere, but that's the benefit of a power position. This is a power position. You know, if you just tactically
a power
use
position should be. You see, a power position should not be an overpowered position. You shouldn't have to work to get to something and just be safe. No, 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 no. See, safe spaces around the map are placed for the players who play tactically, not the players who go out of their way to actually try to push to an objective. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about the players who move slowly, methodically, and intelligently.
And also the Infinity Ward developers, they knew this was a power position, hence why you can mount anywhere on this fountain. As you
Precisely.
can see. I mean, you can get an angle from anywhere if you want to. You just, you know, maybe you hear someone coming behind you. Oh, I quickly rotate around and then mount on this side. You know, or I mount on this side. And I can get a view of the entire map. This fountain, really underrated.
Honestly, I think the mountain mechanic, I mean, it's demonstrated probably better on this map than any map in Call of Duty history.
I mean, you can mount on anything. You can mount on this. You can mount in the stand. It's really
Truly
dynamic.
inspired game design, really.
It really encourages a gameplay style that I like to call tactical immobilization. And it's really crucial in this particular game. Again, because of all the neurons and the sensors you have to activate while playing this. It is magnificent.
Precisely. And magnificent is what I would describe this map in general. No more needs to be said. Piccadilly truly is one of, if not, the greatest map of all time.
And one final mechanic I'd like to point out, if you'd like to come over here, one thing that I really appreciate that adds to the immersion is that this ammo box here can explode. Because as you can see, if you look inside of it, there are grenades in there. And if we shoot it
Yes.
right now, it will explode.
And what that does is the players who wish to refuel their weapons, they can be punished for it.
Mm-hmm. This is something that was really lacking in Black Ops 4. Whenever you'd put down an ammo box in Black Ops 4, if you just shot it, it would just disappear. But in this game, adding to the immersion, the ammo box can explode, and that's one of those things that really gets me immersed in the gameplay.
So that was us exploring, dissecting, and taking a look at Piccadilly. Truly one of, if not the greatest Call of Duty map of all time. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and comment down below what your favorite Modern Warfare 2019 map is. Any closing thoughts?
It was a wonderful experience to break down this map. It's been one of my favorites since the game came out, and it's one of the big reasons that I personally kept playing Modern Warfare, even as new Call of Duties were coming out. This map gave me an experience like no other that no other game has replicated before or since. And it has been an honor to show off this map for you all today. Thank you for watching.